Lieutenant Commander Hana Kim stepped through the broken airlock of Mining Station Omega-7. Her boots made soft clicks on the metal floor as she moved forward. The station felt cold and empty. Emergency lights flickered red in the darkness. "This place gives me the creeps," said June Park. He held his rifle ready and looked around nervously. Why did the Council forces run away so fast? Mira Cho checked her scanner. The reports said void predators, something that eats starship hulls. She shook her head. "I still think we should have stayed on the ship," Hana smiled. "That's why they send humans to check out the impossible stuff. We're too stupid to know when to quit." The three soldiers moved deeper into the station. Their helmet lights cut through the darkness. The mining station had been abandoned for 3 months. The Galactic Council declared the whole system too dangerous after losing 2 fleets to unknown creatures. But humans never listened to warnings about dangerous places. That was how they had spread across half the galaxy in just 200 years. "Movement ahead," Mira whispered. Hana raised her hand. The team stopped. She could hear something moving in the main cargo bay. It sounded big. Really big. They crept forward. The cargo bay doors stood open. Inside, something shifted in the shadows. Hana's light swept across the room and stopped. "Holy stars," June breathed. The creature was beautiful and terrifying at the same time. It looked like a mammoth made of living shadow and starlight. Its hide rippled with tiny points of light that moved like stars in the night sky. 2 great tusks curved from its face, glowing with soft blue energy. The void mammoth was young, maybe the size of a shuttlecraft. It lay on its side, breathing heavily. Dark liquid leaked from several tears in its hide. The creature was hurt. "We should go," Mira said quietly. "This thing could kill us all." Hana looked at the wounded animal. Its eyes were huge and dark like deep space, but there was something else in those eyes. Intelligence and pain. "It's just a baby," Hana said. "A baby that could eat our ship," June replied. The void mammoth tried to stand up. It stumbled and fell back down. A soft sound came from its throat. Not a roar, more like a whimper. Hana made a decision that would change everything. She stepped forward. "Commander, don't," Mira warned. "It's okay," Hana said softly. She spoke to the creature like she would speak to a hurt animal back on Earth. "Hey there, big guy. You're hurt, aren't you?" The void mammoth's head turned toward her. Those deep space eyes focused on her face. The creature went very still. Hana took another step. "Easy now. I'm not going to hurt you. I want to help." "This is insane," June muttered, but he kept his rifle pointed down. Hana reached into her pack and pulled out a medical kit. She had emergency nano patches for hull repairs. Maybe they would work on the creature's wounds too. "Look at this," she said, holding up a patch. "It's going to help you feel better." The void mammoth made a soft rumbling sound. It reminded Hana of a cat purring, but much deeper. She knelt down beside the creature. Up close, she could see that its hide was not really solid. It looked like it was made of space itself, with tiny stars moving inside. The wounds were tears in that strange skin, leaking some kind of cosmic energy. "This might sting a little," Hana said. She placed the first nano patch over a large wound. The patch stuck to the creature's hide and began to seal the tear. The void mammoth flinched but did not pull away. "Good boy," Hana said. "You're being very brave." She treated 3 more wounds. The creature watched her the whole time. Its breathing became easier. The pain in its eyes faded. When Hana finished, the void mammoth did something amazing. It reached out with its trunk and gently touched her arm. The touch felt warm despite the creature being made of cold space. "I think it likes you," Mira said. She sounded amazed. Hana smiled. "What should I call you?" She looked at the creature's hide with its moving stars. "How about Sunshine? I know you're made of darkness, but you make me feel warm inside." The void mammoth made that purring sound again. It was louder now, almost like it was happy. "Sunshine?" June laughed. "That's the worst name ever for a space monster." He's not a monster, Hana said. He's just different. Sunshine tried to stand again. This time he made it. He was still weak, but the nanopatches were working. He took a step toward Hana and nuzzled her shoulder with his trunk. This is impossible, Mira said. The report said these things were killing machines. Maybe they were just scared, Hana replied. Or protecting themselves. She scratched behind what looked like Sunshine's ear. The creature leaned into her touch like a giant dog. Points of light rippled across his hide in patterns that looked almost like happiness. We need to report this, June said. Report what? Hana asked. That we found a wounded animal and helped it? An animal that could destroy a battleship. Hana looked at Sunshine. He was watching her with those deep, intelligent eyes. There was trust there now. And something else. A connection. He won't hurt anyone, she said. Not unless they try to hurt him first. Sunshine made a soft trumpeting sound. Then he did something that made all three humans step back in shock. He began to fade. His solid form became transparent. Within seconds he was completely invisible. Where did he go? Mira whispered. Hana felt a gentle touch on her shoulder. He's still here. He's just hiding. The invisible creature rubbed against her side like a cat seeking attention. Hana reached out and her hand found solid flesh that she could not see. This changes everything, she said quietly. What do you mean? June asked. The council forces couldn't fight these creatures because they tried to use force, but maybe there's a better way. Sunshine became visible again. He had moved to stand protectively between Hana and the cargo bay entrance. His tusks glowed brighter. He was guarding her. He's bonded with you, Mira said. Like the animals back on Earth bond with humans. Hana nodded. She had always been good with animals. Her grandmother used to say she had a gift for seeing past scary appearances to find the gentle heart inside. The question is, what do we do now? June said. Their radio crackled. Alpha Team, report status, came the voice of their ship's captain. Hana looked at Sunshine. The creature looked back at her with complete trust. She made another decision that would change the war. Alpha Team reporting. We found something interesting. We're going to need more time to investigate. Copy that. Be careful down there. Hana smiled. Always am, sir. She turned back to Sunshine. What do you say, big guy? Want to be friends? Sunshine reached out with his trunk and wrapped it gently around her waist. The gesture was so human-like that all three soldiers started laughing. I think that's a yes, Mira said. Outside the station, the war between the humans and the Galactic Council continued. Neither side knew that everything was about to change because a human woman had shown kindness to a creature everyone else feared, and, in a cargo bay on an abandoned mining station, a friendship began that would reshape the galaxy. 3 weeks had passed since Hana first met Sunshine. The void mammoth had grown bigger, much bigger. He was now the size of a small frigate, but he still followed Hana around like a loyal dog. The human reconnaissance team had set up a temporary base in the asteroid fields. Every day, Hana learned something new about her strange companion. Sunshine could phase through solid rock. He could bend gravity around himself. Most amazing of all, he could talk to Hana without words. It felt like warm thoughts flowing into her mind, pictures and feelings that told her what Sunshine wanted to say. When he was happy, she felt sunshine in her heart. When he was worried, she felt cold space. Contact incoming, June called from the communication station. Multiple ships dropping out of hyperspace. Hana ran to the scanner. Her heart sank. 20 Zelkan warships had just arrived in the system. The Zelkan Empire was known for one thing. They enjoyed causing pain. Those are pain fleets, Mira said quietly. They don't just kill people. They make them suffer first. The radio crackled with emergency signals. Human colony ships were scattered across the system, families with children, scientists, miners, all defenseless against the Zelkan war machine. Emergency transmission from Admiral Sun Kang, the radio announced. All human forces retreat immediately. The system is lost. Repeat, all forces retreat. Hana felt Sunshine's massive presence behind her. The void mammoth had grown protective of all the humans in her team. When Yoon Seo got hurt last week, Sunshine had gently carried him back to base. When Hyunjin felt homesick, Sunshine had wrapped him in a warm, invisible hug. "We can't leave," Hana said. "There are 10,000 civilians in this system." "The Admiral gave a direct order," June replied. "The Admiral doesn't know what we have here." Sunshine made a low rumbling sound. Through their mental link, Hana felt his determination. The void mammoth understood what the Zelkin ships meant. He had seen their kind before. They were hunters who enjoyed the fear of their prey. "Look," Mira pointed at the scanner. "Zelkin, fighters are heading for Colony Ship 7. There are 3,000 people on that ship." Hana climbed onto Sunshine's back. It felt like sitting on solid starlight. "Can you get us there without being seen?" Sunshine's response came as a feeling of absolute confidence. The space around them began to shimmer. Reality bent and twisted. Suddenly they were invisible, floating in space near the colony ship. The Zelkin fighters were closing in. Their ships looked like metal sharks with too many teeth. Hana could see their weapon ports charging up. They would disable the colony ship first. Then they would board it and begin their terrible work. "Sunshine," Hana whispered. "Can you protect that ship?" The void mammoth understood. He wrapped his invisible field around the entire colony ship. To the Zelkin sensors, the ship simply vanished. The enemy fighters flew right past their target. Their confused radio chatter filled the comm channels. "Target has disappeared from sensors. Impossible. Ships that size cannot cloak. Search pattern Delta. Find that ship." But they could not find what Sunshine chose to hide. The colony ship drifted safely in its invisible cocoon while the hunters searched empty space. "This is incredible," June breathed. "He's hiding an entire ship." Hana felt Sunshine's pride through their link. But she also felt something else. The void mammoth was not alone. There were others of his kind in the dark spaces between stars. They were watching, waiting. "Get us back to base," Hana said. "I need to contact the Admiral." They phased through space and materialized at their asteroid base. Hana opened a quantum communication channel to Admiral Sun Kang's flagship. "Admiral, this is Lieutenant Commander Kim. I have a situation report that will change your mind about retreating." "Kim, you were ordered to fall back with the rest of the fleet." "Sir, I have assets in place that can turn this fight around. I need permission to stay behind with a volunteer strike team." There was a long pause. "What kind of assets?" Hana looked at Sunshine. The massive creature was grooming himself with his trunk somehow managing to look both cosmic and adorable at the same time. "The kind that make impossible things possible, sir. Trust me." Another pause. "You have 48 hours, Commander. After that, we're gone whether you're with us or not." The channel closed. Hana turned to her team. "Who wants to save 10,000? Civilians and maybe win this war?" Every hand went up. Over the next day, they rescued 4 more colony ships. Sunshine could hide them all, wrapping each ship in his protective field. The Zelkin forces grew more frustrated with each disappearing target, but the enemy was learning too. They began using different tactics, pain broadcasts on all frequencies, torture signals designed to break human morale. The screams of captured prisoners echoed across space. Sunshine felt Hana's rage at these sounds. The void mammoth's own anger began to build. His hide flickered with dangerous colors. Stars within his body pulsed like angry heartbeats. "The Zelkins have taken Mining Station Beta," Mira reported. "They're broadcasting from there, showing what they do to prisoners." Hana felt sick. She had seen Zelkin torture methods before. They could keep people alive and suffering for weeks. "We have to stop them," she said. "How?" June asked. "There are thousands of enemy soldiers on that station." Hana looked at Sunshine. The void mammoth looked back at her. In that moment, they understood each other perfectly. "We're going to do what humans do best," Hana said. "Something completely insane that no one expects." She climbed onto Sunshine's back. "Who's coming with me?" Her entire team joined her. Yoon Seo with his demolitions gear, Hyun Jin with his piloting skills, Ray, Wong with her medical supplies, Dal Choi with his hacking equipment. Sunshine wrapped them all in his protective field. They became invisible ghosts floating through space toward the enemy station. "How are we going to get inside?" Dal asked. "We're not going inside," Hana replied. "We're going through." Sunshine began to phase. The team felt a strange tingling as they shifted between dimensions. The station's hull passed through them like smoke. They materialized in the main corridor. Zelkan soldiers stood guard just meters away, but they could not see the invisible humans. "Split up," Hana whispered. "Yoon, plant charges on the power core. Dal, hack their communications. Everyone else, find the prisoners." "What about you?" Mira asked. "I'm going to have a chat with their commander." Hana and Sunshine moved through the station like ghosts. They found the command center where a Zelkan war chief was directing the torture broadcasts. Hana stepped out of Sunshine's invisibility field. She appeared like magic in the middle of the enemy command center. The Zelkan soldiers reached for their weapons, but Sunshine materialized behind them, all the size of a frigate, filling the entire room with his cosmic presence. The war chief looked up at the void mammoth and felt true fear for the first time in his life. "Surrender now," Hana said calmly, "or my friend here gets upset, and trust me, you don't want to see what happens when a void mammoth gets upset." The war chief's translator struggled with human words. "Impossible. Void, spawn, extinct. Cannot be controlled." "You're right about one thing," Hana smiled. "He can't be controlled, but he can be loved. And he really doesn't like bullies." Sunshine let out a roar that shook the entire station. It was a sound like stars being born and dying all at once. Every Zelkan in the room fell to their knees. "Your choice," Hana said. "Surrender and live, or find out what happens when you threaten his family." The war chief looked into Sunshine's eyes and saw the infinite depth of space. And something else. Love. Fierce, protective love for the small human who had shown him kindness. "We surrender," the war chief whispered. Later, as they rescued the human prisoners and watched the Zelkan fleet retreat, Hana scratched behind Sunshine's ears. The void mammoth purred like a cosmic engine. "Good boy," she said. "Who's the best space monster?" "You are." "Yes, you are." Sunshine's response filled her mind with warm starlight. He was happy. His pack was safe. His family was together. And somewhere, in the dark between stars, other void mammoths felt his joy and began to take notice of these strange creatures called humans. 6 months had passed since the first Zelkan retreat. Sunshine had grown again. He was now the size of a destroyer, but his personality remained playful and gentle. When he thought no one was watching, he would chase asteroids like a puppy chasing balls. Hana had assembled her team of volunteers. Each person had proven themselves in combat and shown they could work with Sunshine. The void mammoth had accepted them all as part of his pack. Yoon Seo was their demolitions expert. He could make anything explode, but he was also gentle enough to feed Sunshine by hand. The void mammoth loved the energy crystals that Yoon would toss into his mouth like treats. Hyun Jin was their pilot. She could fly anything with engines, and she had figured out how to coordinate with Sunshine's phasing abilities. Together, they could appear anywhere in the system without warning. Ray Huang was their medic. She had studied Sunshine's biology and learned how his cosmic energy could heal wounds. The void mammoth would gently touch injured humans with his trunk, sharing his life force to speed their recovery. Dal Choi was their tech specialist. He had learned to interface with Sunshine's natural electromagnetic fields. The void mammoth could boost their equipment or jam enemy communications just by thinking about it. But the war was far from over. The Zelkan Empire had returned with a larger fleet. They had brought their war surgeon Krexhal, a monster who enjoyed causing pain more than any creature in the galaxy. The Zelkans had established 3 major bases on Kepler 442b. From these bases, they conducted raids on human colonies. Worse, they had begun broadcasting their torture sessions across all frequencies. Hana watched the latest broadcast with sick horror. Human prisoners were being kept alive, while the Zelkans slowly destroyed their bodies. The screams echoed through space, meant to break human morale. Sunshine felt her pain through their mental link. The void mammoth's hide began to flicker with angry red patterns. His cosmic energy started to pulse with dangerous intensity. "We have to stop this," Hana said. "How?" Yoon asked. "There are 10,000 Zelkan soldiers on the planet. We do what we do best. We improvise." Their first target was Supply Base Alpha. The Zelkans had built it in a mountain valley, thinking the rocky walls would protect them from air attacks. They had not considered attacks that came through solid rock. Sunshine phased the team directly into the base's ammunition depot. They appeared like ghosts in the middle of the enemy's stockpile. 30 seconds, Yoon whispered as he placed his charges. Zelkan guards walked past them, unable to see the invisible humans. Sunshine kept them all hidden in his field while Yoon worked. They phased back out just as the explosions began. The entire mountain shook as the ammunition depot went up in a chain reaction of fire and destruction. "Base Alpha is gone," Dal reported, monitoring enemy communications. "They're calling it a phantom attack." "Good," Hana said. "Let them wonder." Their second target was the prison compound at Base Beta. This was more dangerous. The Zelkans were holding 300 human prisoners there. Sunshine grew nervous as they approached. Through their link, Hana felt his worry. The void mammoth could sense the pain and fear of the prisoners. It made him angry and sad at the same time. "Easy, boy," Hana whispered. "We're going to save them." They phased through the prison walls. The sight inside made Hana's blood boil. Human prisoners were chained in cages barely large enough to hold them. Many were injured. All were terrified. Sunshine's reaction was immediate. His cosmic energy flared with protective fury. The void mammoth wanted to destroy every Zelkan in the compound. "Not yet," Hana said firmly. "First, we get our people out." Ray moved from cage to cage, using her medical scanner to check the prisoners. "Most are in bad shape, but they can move. We need to get them to the evacuation point." "The guards will see them," Hyun pointed out. Hana looked at Sunshine. "Can you hide 300 people?" The void mammoth's response came as a feeling of absolute determination. His invisibility field expanded, growing larger than it had ever been before. Soon the entire prison block was wrapped in his protection. To the Zelkan guards, their prisoners simply vanished. Alarms began to blare as the guards ran around in confusion, unable to find hundreds of missing humans. Hana led the invisible column of freed prisoners toward the extraction point. But as they moved, she heard something that made her stop. Screaming. Fresh screaming from the command center. "They have more prisoners," she realized. "Hana, we can't save everyone," Mira said quietly. "Yes, we can." Hana left the rescue team with the freed prisoners and took Sunshine toward the command center. Inside, they found War Surgeon Krexhall conducting one of his sessions. A human woman was strapped to his table while he worked on her with his instruments. Sunshine's rage exploded. The void mammoth dropped his invisibility and materialized in the center of the room, roaring with the sound of dying stars. Every Zelkan in the room fell down. Some passed out from terror. Others soiled themselves. War Surgeon Krexhall looked up at the cosmic horror above him and felt his sanity begin to crack. "Stop," Hana said simply. The war surgeon's hands were shaking too badly to hold his instruments. "What are you?" "I'm the human who's going to end your career." "Release the prisoner." "Impossible. Void spawn cannot be tamed." "He's not tamed, he's family." Sunshine lowered his massive head until he was eye to eye with the war surgeon. The void mammoth's cosmic energy pulsed with barely controlled fury. "Release her now," Hana repeated, "or I let him decide what happens to you." The war surgeon's translator was having trouble with the concept of a void mammoth showing loyalty to a human, but his survival instincts were working fine. He released the prisoner's bonds. Ray immediately went to work on the injured woman. "She'll live. Multiple fractures, but nothing fatal." "Good." Hana looked at War Surgeon Krexhall. "Here's what's going to happen. You're going to order the evacuation of all Zelkan forces from this system, right now. I cannot. The Empire would execute me for cowardice. Then you have a choice. Quick death from your Empire, or slow death from him. Hana pointed at Sunshine. The void mammoth's hide began to ripple with patterns that hurt to look at. His cosmic energy started to warp space around the war surgeon. The Empire will send more fleets, the war surgeon stammered. Let them come. We'll be ready. Through the base's communication system, War Surgeon Krexhall gave the order for full withdrawal. Hana listened to the confused responses from other Zelkan commanders. Sir, we control the system. Why are we retreating? Because, the war surgeon said, looking at Sunshine, the humans have allies we cannot fight. 2 hours later, the Zelkan fleet left the system. As their ships jumped to hyperspace, Hana sat on Sunshine's back and watched them go. Think they'll be back? Yoon asked. Probably, but we'll be ready. Sunshine made his contented purring sound. He was happy. His pack was safe. The bad people were gone, and his human was scratching that spot behind his ear that made him feel like he was floating in warm starlight. Around them, rescued prisoners were being loaded onto medical ships. Families were reunited. Children were hugging their parents, and somewhere in the dark between stars, elder void mammoths felt the joy of their youngest pack member and began to wonder about these strange creatures who fought with love instead of hate. The galaxy was about to discover that humans had not just survived the void mammoth encounters. They had made friends, and in a universe full of enemies that changed everything. 1 year had passed since the second Zelkan defeat. Sunshine had reached his full adult size. He was nearly a kilometer long now, a living ship made of cosmic energy and starlight. But to Hana, he was still the same gentle giant who liked to have his belly rubbed. The void mammoth had learned to be more careful with his size. When he wanted to play with the humans, he would partially phase out of reality to become lighter. Watching a kilometer-long space creature play fetch with asteroids never got old, but bigger changes were coming. One night, as Hana slept in her quarters aboard their mobile base, she felt something different through her link with Sunshine. He was calling out to something. His cosmic voice echoed through dimensions she could not understand, and something was calling back. Hana. Sunshine's voice came into her mind, clearer than ever before. Family comes. She sat up in bed. In all their time together, Sunshine had never spoken actual words in her thoughts, just feelings and images. Family? Others like me, they hear my happiness. They want to meet the small ones who give love instead of pain. Hana ran to the observation deck. Outside, space itself was bending. Reality twisted as something massive pushed through from another dimension. A void mammoth larger than a battleship materialized in front of their base. Then another. And another. Soon, 7 adult void mammoths floated in space around them. The largest one was ancient. Its hide showed the birth and death of entire star systems. Cosmic energy flowed around it like a visible aura. I am the ancient. Current. A voice spoke directly into Hana's mind. Not warm like Sunshine's voice. This one felt cold and vast like the space between galaxies. You are the small one who bonded with our lost child. His name is Sunshine, Hana said out loud. She was not sure if the ancient current could hear her, but she wanted to show respect. The ancient void mammoth made a sound like distant thunder. Sunshine, a name of warmth for one born of cold void. Interesting. Other members of Hana's team had arrived on the observation deck. They stared in wonder at the gathering of cosmic creatures. We have watched through his eyes. The ancient current continued. We have seen how your kind treats those who are different. Most species fear us. They attack us. They try to capture us for study. Humans are different, Hana said. Yes. You adopt everything. We have seen this in Sunshine's memories. Your people bond with creatures great and small. You see companions, where others see threats. The ancient current moved closer to their base. Up close, Hana could see entire nebulae swirling within its body. But bonding with void mammoths is dangerous for your kind. We exist partially outside your reality. The connection changes you. Hana felt a chill. Changes how? Look at yourself, small one. Hana looked down at her hands. In the starlight, she could see tiny points of light moving under her skin, just like the stars in sunshine's hide. You're becoming something new. Part human, part void. The bond grows stronger each day. Is that bad? The ancient current seemed to consider this. We do not know. It has never happened before. But sunshine is happier than any of our kind has ever been. And you are still yourself, just more. Yoon stepped forward. What do you want from us? We want to understand. For millions of years we have lived alone in the dark spaces. We have no friends. No families except our own kind. But sunshine shows us something new. The ancient creature's attention focused on Hana again. We will allow limited bonding between our youngest and your people, but only with those who can love without trying to control. Only with those who see partners, not tools. How will you know who is worthy? Hana asked. The same way sunshine knew. The bond cannot be forced. It must be freely given on both sides. Over. The following weeks, the ancient current and its companions observed the human base. They watched how Hana's team interacted with sunshine. They saw the care, the respect, the genuine affection. Most importantly, they saw how the humans never tried to command or control their cosmic friend. When sunshine wanted to play, they played. When he wanted to rest, they let him rest. When he wanted to explore, they went with him. Your species is strange, the ancient current told Hana one day. Most beings want to dominate those they consider lesser, or they worship those they consider greater, but you treat sunshine as an equal. That's what friends do, Hana replied. Friends, another human concept we are learning about. The ancient current made its decision. 6 young void mammoths would remain with the humans. Each would choose their own partner from Hana's extended team. The bonding process was amazing to watch. Each void mammoth approached a different human, not based on rank or strength, but on some deeper connection that only they could sense. Yoon bonded with a playful young mammoth he named Comet. The creature loved explosions and would create beautiful light shows in space, just to make Yoon laugh. Yoon's partner was swift and graceful. She called him Arrow because of how quickly he could move through hyperspace. Ray bonded with a gentle giant she named Healer. The void mammoth seemed to understand medicine instinctively and could diagnose illnesses just by touching patients. Dal's companion was fascinated by technology. Spark could interface with computer systems in ways that no one fully understood. Mira's partner was cautious and protective. She named him Shield because he always positioned himself between her and any potential threat. June's void mammoth was the most curious of the group. Explorer wanted to see everything, go everywhere, and learn about every aspect of human culture. This is unprecedented, the ancient current observed. 6 successful bonds in one day. Usually a void mammoth bonds only once in its lifetime, if at all. Sunshine chose well, Hana said, scratching behind her companion's ear. He picked humans who understand that the best relationships are built on trust. But their peaceful time was ending. Long-range sensors detected a massive fleet approaching the system. The Zelkan Empire was returning with their entire Third Armada. Hundreds of ships, including their dreaded Torment dreadnoughts. They mean to end this permanently. Admiral Sun Kang's voice came over the quantum communicator. I'm bringing the human fleet back, but we're outnumbered 5-1. Hana looked at her team and their void mammoth partners. 7 bonded pairs against an entire armada. Are you ready for a real fight? She asked Sunshine. The void mammoth's response filled her mind with fierce joy. He had been waiting for this chance to protect his extended pack. All the humans in the system were his family now. We are ready, the ancient current announced. Our young ones have found something worth fighting for. We will not let the Painbringers destroy it. As the Zelkan fleet dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the system, 7 void mammoths and their human partners prepared for the battle that would decide the fate of human space. The enemy had brought enough firepower to destroy planets. But they had never fought an enemy that could love and be loved in return. That was their first mistake. It would also be their last. The Zelkan Third Armada filled space like a swarm of metal locusts. 300 warships, including 5 massive Torment dreadnoughts. These were ships designed for one purpose: to cause maximum suffering before death. Admiral Sun Kang's human fleet looked tiny by comparison. 60 ships against 300. But the humans had something the Zelkans did not expect. 7 void mammoths and their bonded partners. All human ships. This is Admiral Kang. Begin evasive maneuvers. Do not engage the enemy directly. Wait for the signal. Hana sat on Sunshine's back as they floated invisible in space. Around her, the other bonded pairs were ready. Each human wore a special suit that Dal had designed to help them survive in the void. Remember the plan, Hana said over their comm channel. We're not trying to destroy their entire fleet. We just need to reach their command ship. What if this doesn't work? Hyun asked from Arrow's back. Then we try something else. That's what humans do. The battle began with the Zelkans launching their pain weapons. Waves of agony-inducing energy swept across space, designed to cripple human ships before the real fighting started. But the void mammoths absorbed the pain waves like they were gentle breezes. The cosmic creatures fed on exotic energy. The Zelkan torture weapons just made them stronger. Now, Hana commanded. 7 void mammoths phased into hyperspace and reappeared behind the enemy fleet. They were invisible to sensors, but their presence warped space itself. Sunshine found the largest Torment dreadnought. Inside that ship was Grand Admiral Vextar, leader of the Third Armada, the Zelkan who had ordered the torture of 10,000 human prisoners. Time for a house call, Hana said. Sunshine phased through the dreadnought's hull. They materialized on the bridge, invisible but very much present. The Zelkan bridge crew was celebrating their early advantage. Human ships were retreating across the system. Victory seemed certain. Hana stepped out of Sunshine's invisibility field. She appeared like a ghost in the center of the enemy bridge. Grand Admiral Vextar, she said calmly. We need to talk. Zelkan soldiers reached for their weapons. But then Sunshine materialized behind them. A kilometer of cosmic horror suddenly filled the entire bridge. The void mammoth's roar shook the massive dreadnought. Several Zelkan officers fell unconscious from pure terror. Others lost control of their bodily functions. Grand Admiral Vextar was made of sterner stuff. He drew his personal weapon and aimed it at Hana. Surrender, human. Your tricks will not save you. No tricks, Hana replied. Just friendship. She reached out and touched Sunshine's trunk. The void mammoth purred with contentment, the sound rumbling through the ship's hull. Impossible, Vextar whispered. The void spawn cannot be controlled. He's not controlled. He's loved. There's a difference. Around the dreadnought, space began to warp. The other 6 void mammoths had surrounded the ship. Their combined gravitational fields held the massive vessel in place. Your fleet is trapped, Hana announced. My friends can create a localized black hole around your entire armada. One thought from me, and 300 ships become cosmic. Dust. It was a bluff. The void mammoths could manipulate gravity, but not on that scale. But the Zelkans did not know that. What do you want? Vextar demanded. Simple. Order your fleet to leave this system and never return. Stop the torture broadcasts. Release all human prisoners. And spread the word that humanity has made some very powerful friends. The Empire will never agree to your terms. Then the Empire can send more fleets. We'll be waiting. Sunshine moved closer to the Grand Admiral. The void mammoth's hide showed swirling galaxies and dying stars. Up close, the cosmic creature was beautiful and terrifying at the same time. Your choice, Hana said. Peace or war? But if you choose war, remember that you're not just fighting humans anymore. Vexatar looked into Sunshine's eyes and saw something that shook him to his core. Intelligence, ancient wisdom, and absolute loyalty to the small human on his back. The Grand Admiral had spent his life studying warfare. He understood when he was beaten. All ships, this is Grand Admiral Vextar. Begin. Immediate withdrawal from the system. Release all prisoners before departure, sir, came the confused response from his fleet commanders. You heard the order. Full retreat. Now. As the Zelkin fleet prepared to leave, Hana felt something strange through her link with Sunshine. The Void Mammoth was amused. "What's funny?" she asked. Sunshine's response came as images and feelings. He showed her the ancient current and the other elder Void Mammoths watching from hyperspace. They were proud of their young ones. The cosmic creatures had found something worth protecting. But more than that, they were entertained by human methods. Most species fought with weapons and tactics. Humans fought with friendship and the willingness to do impossible things. "The ancient current says you make war like children playing games," Sunshine translated. "But somehow you always win. Tell him it's because we're too stubborn to lose." 3 hours later, the last Zelkin ship jumped to hyperspace. The human fleet regrouped and began rescue operations for the freed prisoners. Admiral Sun Kang's face appeared on Hana's communicator. The old soldier looked amazed and exhausted. "Commander Kim, I don't know how you did it, but you just ended a war without firing a shot." "Not me, sir. We had help." Hana scratched behind Sunshine's ear. The Void Mammoth made his happy purring sound, the cosmic equivalent of a cat enjoying affection. "The Galactic Council is requesting a meeting," the Admiral continued. "They want to discuss human-Void Mammoth relations. Seems like everyone wants to be friends with the species that tamed the untamable." "We didn't tame anything," Hana corrected. "We just made friends." Later that evening, as the celebration parties continued across the human fleet, Hana sat quietly with Sunshine on the observation deck of their base. "You know what this means, don't you?" she said. "Everything changes now. The galaxy is going to look at humanity differently." Sunshine's response filled her mind with warm contentment. He did not care about galactic politics or interspecies relations. He only cared that his pack was safe and happy. "You're right," Hana laughed. "Let the galaxy worry about the big picture. We'll just keep doing what humans do best." Which is making friends with things that everyone else is afraid of. A year later, Admiral Hana Kim stood in the council chambers on Galactic Station Prime. Representatives from 100 species watched as she gave her presentation on human-Void Mammoth partnerships. "The Sunshine Protocol," she explained, "is based on a simple principle. Treat others as equals regardless of their size, power, or appearance. Show genuine care and respect. Most importantly, never try to control or dominate your partner." "Ao." Zelkin Ambassador raised his claw. "What prevents these creatures from turning on you?" Hana smiled. "The same thing that prevents my dog from biting me. Love, loyalty, and mutual respect." Through the chamber's viewports, 7 Void Mammoths floated in space around the station. They were playing some kind of cosmic game, chasing each other through hyperspace loops while their human partners laughed and cheered them on. "Questions?" Hana asked. The chamber was silent. No one knew what to make of a species that had turned apex predators into best friends. Later, as Hana prepared to leave the station, she received a priority message from Earth. The Human Diplomatic Corps wanted to know if the Void Mammoth program could be expanded. There were other dangerous species in the galaxy. Ancient creatures that everyone feared. Things that lived in black holes or swam through the cores of stars or nested in the space between dimensions. "Think any of them might want to be friends?" the message asked. Hana looked at Sunshine, who was currently trying to teach a young vegan diplomat how to play fetch with space debris. "Why not?" she replied. "We've got nothing but time and humans."